Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting series on what if Naruto was a first prince of the Misurugi Empire, Angels and Dragons. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. A long time ago, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze has done it all. Surpassing all impossible odds, he became a shinobi, got the girl of his dreams who loves him just as much as he loves him, and then some who share the same sentiment, and became the Hokage of his village. In another life, he would draw attention to himself, he would be chasing a fangirl banshee, and would hang on to bonds desperately enough to chase after a traitor he believed was his eternal friend. That was another life, and this was his life. He still executed pranks, only for training. He sought out different shinobi in Konoha to train with, gaining many skills. He bonded with a girl he saved from bullies and a foreign shinobi, and along with other kunoichi, ended up becoming each other's life partner, among other things. At the end of the Fourth Shinobi World War, Naruto sealed the entity Kagaya Otsutsuki within himself, defeated the traitor Sasuke Uchiha when he turned on the Shinobi Alliance, and freed everyone from Shinju and the Mugen Tsukuyomi. A few years later, he married his life partners, restored his clans, the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans, and then became Hokage. Now he has reached the end of his life due to old age, and is lying down on his deathbed, surrounded by his family. His wives already went on ahead, and now it was his turn. It was for the best anyway, since when he died, Kagaya goes with him to the Shinigami. After looking in the eyes of his children and their children's children, he gave one last smile before completely closing his eyes and passing away. Only for him to be reincarnated with all his memories intact, with a few surprises, for it appears as hero of the world. Shinigami was not though with him yet. Opening theme. Kinda No Resistance, Forbidden Resistance, by Nana Mizuki. Empire of Mitsurugi, centuries later, as the elder twins of the Misurugi siblings watched, along with their parents, their three youngest siblings riding on horses and laughing together, they never thought or realized the upcoming events that would alter their destinies and change the world. Jerking awake, Naruto opened his eyes and yawned as his ship touched down upon a private helipad Empire of Mitsurugi. He's 21 years old, and still has his spiky blonde hair and blue eyes. As the back door opened, he cleaned his eyes and adjusted the tie on his suit as one of the members of his personal security known as his Choden bodyguards came up to him, who was a young woman with spiky bright red hair, blue eyes, and a busty and athletic figure. "We have arrived, Naruto-sama." "Where to?" "For now, Colin, home. I miss my little sisters Angelis and Sylvia, and my little brother, Julio." Naruto responded as he and the 6 female members of his guard stepped out of the ship and headed towards the Humvee waiting for them. Naruto was reborn into the world as Naruto Asuka Misurugi, first prince of the Mitsurugi Empire, in a utopia generated through mana, the ability to use technology like magic for feats much as moving objects and creating energy barriers. The light of mana, or simply mana, was discovered when the human race reached the limits of its evolution. Its founding made it possible to share information with the majority of humans by accessing the integrated system and generate energy for technology. The people deepened their mutual understanding of one another by leading each other to overcome problems such as war and discrimination, actually doing what the Sage of 6 Paths failed to do with chakra, connecting everyone. As a result, a utopia was born out of its power, causing inequality and poverty to be non-existent. But with every utopia, it has a price, and a dark one at that, which is why Naruto opted not to compete for the line of the throne due to not wanting to run a hypocritical society, opting to do something much more different. "What about your mother and father? I know how you feel about them," but started a young woman with light green hair, golden eyes, and a slender figure. I think less of my father than I do my mother and leave it at that," Naruto stated flatly as they got in the Humvee, with his getting in the passenger seat. "How are our troops on the ground?" "We have some moving," CC said as she checked her tablet. "Looks like we have some clashing with authorities after they identified Enorma, who is actually a baby, might I add." "Change of destination then. We'll see to this matter personally, so get ready to kick some ass if need be. Take us there on the triple, Ayano," Naruto ordered, turning to the driver who has medium short black hair, brown eyes, and a similar figure to Colin's own. "Roger that." She complied and sped the Humvee away. "I hope the baby won't be treated roughly." mumbled a reddish-brown-haired young woman with green eyes and a slender build. "Sake, you don't think that?" "Shoko, this is the empire of Mitsurugi you're talking about," countered her teammate Sake. A dark blue-haired young woman with a ponytail, purple eyes, and a figure similar to Shoko's. "Even though we have Flash, Whirlpool privatized world peace with an agreement with the royal families that's well known, the authorities will still try to have their way with Normas before we or the troops can get to them." What Sake was talking about was that Naruto invested his royal allowance, bought a formerly corrupt and dying conglomerate, and in a span of a few years, turned it into something great. Flash, Whirlpool Enterprises, the Wayne Enterprises and Stark Industries of the world, located on the surviving island of Uzushio that was turned into a prison for these, Norma, until Naruto brought and took control of it from the kingdom of Rosenbloom. "Akira, who's the commanding officer of our troops currently on the scene?" Naruto requested, with the sixth member of the elite guard looking it up on her tablet, "who has red hair, purple eyes, and a slender figure as well." The former mercenary turned Miss Troublesome herself, Otonashi Karuko. Akira informed him, "the one with the tonfa blades." "Oh, bloody hell." Naruto groaned, pinching the bridge of his nose. "We're about 3 miles away," Akira added, "and it appears that your siblings are on the scene. We can still make it before any blood can be spilled," Sake piped up. "Ayano. Ignoring the lights and step on it, will ya?" Naruto ordered, with Ayano complying as she slammed down the accelerator. When Naruto grew up in his new land and time, he was amazed and curious about how mana replaced chakra. While it was practically the same, mana could do more. However, he became disenchanted by the wonders of mana thanks to the people. He guessed that there were those people that couldn't use mana, but was horrified to discover that they were treated like the pariah. Like a Jinchuriki to be precise. The reason? It's not just because they can't use mana. They can disrupt its usage, which in the empire's and kingdom's eyes, makes them a threat to their very society and way of life. They are labeled as Norma, and are treated like crap just for existing. Normas have no basic human rights, and generally the entire population is conditioned to hate and fear them and treat them as subhumans, having no qualms about gleefully beating them to a pulp and feeling justified in it, and have zero sympathy for Normas. And it sickened and disgusted Naruto to no end, causing him ignore his duties in the Mitsurugi Empire. But there was another reason why he did what he did, and it was that reason that Naruto was forming a plan to free everyone from the darkness this magical utopia has brought and bring peace. He'll be stepping on a lot of toes, but it no less than what they deserve from the former hero of the world from centuries past. At the scene, 19-year-old busty green-haired, orange-eyed with an eye patch former mercenary and former policewoman turned member of Flash, Whirlpool's strike force Otonashi Karuko and her squad were having a Mexican standoff of sorts with a baby and her mother in the middle. While she was usually easily excited, enthusiastic, klutzy, bubbly, and a semi-airhead, she gradually shifted into her well-known and scary as all-hell dark and violent persona when the local enforcement were making things difficult when they were retrieving a baby Norma named Sarah. Karuko and her squad were trying to resolve their conflict with them peacefully, but the enforcement gleefully took advantage and crossed the line when they attempted to put baby Sarah into a glass container, causing the special forces to drop out attempts of peaceful resolution. And if Karuko taking her famed, signature tonfa blades out were any indication, things were about to get real bloody if someone doesn't stop her and her squad. Well, stop her especially. You guys seem to have forgotten that we have Flash, Whirlpool has a monopoly on Norma. Last time I asked, release baby Sarah to us now, Karuko stated as she readied her black tonfa blade threateningly and looked to unleash pain. We don't have to listen to a Flash, Whirlpool stooge like you, an officer countered as his subordinate placed the baby girl in a glass canister. Bastards, one of Karuko's teammates, a busty brunette named Tifa Lockhart, snarled before Karuko charged. Karuko was about to hit the officer with the dull side of her tonfa blade until she was forced to stop when a certain individual stepped in her path. This certain individual has long blonde hair, red eyes, fair skin, a medium-large bust, and wearing formal yet no doubt expensive shoulderless white, blue, and gold dress. She is Angelis Ikaruga Misurugi, the beloved second princess of the Empire of Misurugi and the younger sister of Naruto. Oni-sama, her little sister Sylvia, a girl who looks like a younger version of Angelis, called out, while their older brother, Julio, A young man also with blonde hair and wearing a green suit, sighed. Angelis-sama. No, a Violette donning a maid outfit named Momoka cried out. Cease this violence at once, Angelis commanded, staring down Karuko to intimate her, but failing, as first princess of. You have no authority over us, Angelis of the Misurugi Empire. You are of no concern of ours, despite your genetic little anti-Norma sentiment, Tifa said as she narrowed her eyes at her. I beg your pardon? Angelis said, appearing insulted. You heard us. Your pals here are violating an agreement Whirlpool have with the Royal Circle. Considering how you're running off at the mouth about how Norma are so-called violent, antisocial monsters, I thought you would assist in the matter, Tifa said as Angelis scoffed. The police are simply treating how Norma should be treated, Angelis replied as a Humvee suddenly pulled up and skidded to a halt with the passenger door opening. Still acting like puppet with tangled strings. Sounds like it's too soon for you to be involved in politics, Angelis, Naruto said, frowning at her while the crowd around them murmurs at his sudden arrival. Naruto-sama. Momoka squeaked and bowed low. Onisama, Angelis said, shocking that he came out of nowhere. Naruto Onisama, Sylvia said, also surprised that Naruto was there, and glad to see him. Yo, Naruto ni, Julio greeted his eldest sibling. Naruto shook his head at Angelis, smiled at Sylvia and Momoka, and nodded at Julio, before going over to the others as Karuko, after calming down, and Tifa saluting their leader. At ease my girls, Naruto said, smiling at them and then turning to the officers who were now sweating bullets. Now then gentlemen. What's this about you violating an agreement I have with your government regarding Norma? Nothing, Naruto-sama. There, you can have this thing, the officer said quickly as he took the glass jar with Sarah in it away from his subordinate and handed it to Naruto, who did not look happy at the officer's words. I believe the baby has a name, Naruto said so coldly that it nearly made the police wet themselves as Naruto took Sarah out of the glass and held her in his arms properly. It's Sarah, Prince Naruto. Her name is Sarah. The woman who's Sarah's mother cried as she crawled forward and grabbed Naruto's leg. Please don't take her away from me. I'll raise her well, I swear. I'm sorry, miss, but I must take her away from here, if only to keep her away from the people who no doubt want her to die, Naruto said sadly, gesturing to the crowd as the mother wailed loudly, but that doesn't mean you can't come with us. No child should be without their parent, whether they be Norma or Mana users. I can? The mother asked, surprised, but I thought they said that while you took over, nothing's changed. What you heard was a lie. Things are much different than how they were when the kingdom of Rosenbloom ran things. The name change of the island symbolized that. Now come. We've dallied around here long enough, Naruto said and turned to Karuko, Tifa, and the rest of the strike force, as you were. Yes, sir, they saluted. The strike force got in their vehicles at the same time Naruto escorted the mother and baby Sarah into the Humvee, where the girls inside made room. Naruto Onisama, wait, Angelis called out, as Naruto was about to get into the Humvee himself. What is it, Angelis? Naruto asked as he opened the passenger door, clearly not to the mood to deal with her. Things will change for the better, so you won't have to do this anymore. Soon, I will lead the change in exterminating all Norma, so the world should become even more beautiful, Angelis said brightly, holding his hand, but was shocked when he jerked his hand away, glaring at her, Onisama. And you wonder why I don't get along with you or others who are anti-Norma. You want to know why? Because you're all puppets, tangled in strings. And that beautiful world you want? It won't be so beautiful when the path leading to it is filled with the corpses of humans. Naruto stated as he got in the Humvee, if that's what you want, then a conflict between us is inevitable. But because you're my sister, I can only hope you can see the light before it's too late. Tell our father I will see him tonight. See ya Angelis, Sylvia, Julio. With that parting shot, Naruto entered the Humvee and slammed the door shut, with the vehicle speed off back a nearby underground safe house to secure Sarah and her mother for transport, as everyone looked on. I worry about Naruto Onisama. He around those Norma all the time, Sylvia said with worry as Angelis and Momoka got back in the royal car that took off. Don't worry. There's one thing our elder brother has proven, that there's nothing he can't handle, Julio assured them with a smile. You're right, and it won't stop me from freeing him from those mutants, Angelis declared with conviction, while not noticing the sad look on Momoko's face. Misurugi Castle, nighttime. It is good to see you, my son. You know our people fear the worst when you're surrounded with Norma on the island. It goes to show how you don't believe in me, too-san. Naruto was walking down the hall with his father and ruler of the empire of Misurugi, Jirai Asuka Misurugi. He has brown hair unlike the rest of his family, and is wearing royal robes, of course. I do. But lately I had time to think about a lot of things, like Norma for instance. Do you think it true that they're violent and antisocial? Where's this coming from? It's you and the other royals at the round table who convinced everyone of that fact. But to answer your question, no, they're not just plain violent and antisocial. They're humans with various emotions, just like you and me. If they are antisocial and violent, don't you think they'd be more resisting when my employees take them in? Naruto pointed out. I have read the reports, and haven't found that to be the case. Nevertheless, things are going to start moving soon, and since you're a Norma sympathizer, you'll be caught in the crossfire, but I know you'll pull through. Jirai said as they entered the throne room where the mother of his children, Sophia Ikaruga Misurugi, who looks like an older Angelis with blonde hair, but regal and beautiful, was waiting. "Two-san?" Naruto asked as Jirai held him back. "What are you? When the time comes, if something happens to me, I need you to take care of the others, especially Angelis." Jirai told him, making Naruto frown in confusion. "You're the only one I can count on, Naruto, my son." Naruto was silent for a moment before nodding, wondering what was going on. "That's my son," Jirai said with pride as Sophia came over to them. "Hey Ka-san." Naruto greeted and hugged her. "Naruto, my son." Sophia greeted back as she hugged him close. "So, tomorrow's the big day, where Angelis is baptized and thrown into the world of my least favorite subject, politics," Naruto said as his parents nodded. "Still doesn't cease my worries about her. I still sense a degree of naivete from her. It's trial by fire, one I know she'll succeed in," Jirai said where Sophia looked around. "Where's your other sister?" Sophia wondered, with Naruto grimacing. "She's be arriving tomorrow in time for the ceremony." "Don't fret," Naruto assured them and looked to the side. "It'll just be a high and bye for her, because of her little argument with Angelis about Norma." "Well then, shall we go to dinner? I'm sure your siblings will be arriving shortly," Jirai said, with Naruto grimacing once more before smiling, with Sophia noticing. "Sure, why not? Should be fun, like tomorrow," Naruto said while thinking the last passed in his mind. "Oh, he has no idea. No idea at all." Flash Whirlpool Safe House, a while later. "So how was dinner?" Chifa asked as Naruto entered the compound. "Good, bad, and everyone in between. I'm getting sick and tired of trying to convince my darling little sisters that a bunch of Norma aren't holding me hostage. Julio, I'm starting to sense something from him that I don't like. As for Mom and Dad, same as usual," Naruto replied as he planted himself in a chair. "How are newest members doing?" "Resting. I sent the others to gather their belongings before the mob came and pelted the house with stuff. We got out in time," Chifa reported with Naruto nodding as the mother came in, breastfeeding Sarah. "Excuse Chifa-san, I.O." the mother cried as Naruto respectfully looked away. "Sorry Naruto-sama, I didn't know you were there." "He's just arrived, Midori-san," Chifa told her as she handed her blanket that was used to cover the feeding. "Comfortable?" Naruto asked, turning to face her. "Hi, thank you for letting me stay with my baby. When are we going to Arsenal?" Midori asked as Naruto's laughed. "Arsenal, they still call it that here. Idiots, the lot of them. Arsenal is now called uzushio, where Norma can live their lives the way they want to, and at the same time train to defend their home," Naruto said with Chifa nodding. "We'll be heading out tomorrow after the ceremony. As a member of the royal family, I must be present." Midori nodded as she face darkened. Why? Why aren't the others like you? Why did Angelis-sama insist on abandoning the only family I have left just because my baby can't use mana? Because like I said, they're all puppets of course, and because they believe that since Norma disrupts mana, it threatens their way of life, which is pathetic. Sure, mana did a good thing, eliminating wars and such, but the cost of being prejudiced to Norma isn't worth it. That and the mana users became complacent, using mana for everything instead of their own two hands at times, and that's why they're weak. Naruto replied as mana appears on his hand before he dispelled it with a shattering effect. After what happened today, I don't want to be one of those mana users that are what you say weak. I want to be strong, strong enough so no one can take my child away. Midori said with Naruto and Tifa smiling at that. Then Uzushio's the place for you. Unknown location, the next day. Excuse me, ma'am, what is it? I've been testing this new program we've built and found something weird. It's been tested already and it works. What's the problem? I don't know if there's a glitch in the system, but it's detecting a Norma inside the Misurugi castle aside from the director's guards. Really now, can you pinpoint her location? The system's almost done with it. Wait, this can't be right. What is it? The sensors show that the Norma is on the stage where the baptism ritual is taking place. That is weird. I'll contact the director. Turn the TV on to the baptism ceremony. Yes, ma'am. TV switches on, trying to use the baptism ritual to make a monster a part of the royal family. Are you made? My adorable Sylvia, and my beloved subjects, I will show you the truth. Angelis is a Norma. To cover up the truth and have a Norma in politics is a theft of the state. A grave betrayal of the people. How could we allow such a monster to tarnish the empire of Misurugi? But at last, Angelis's baptism ritual will reveal everything to the people. Oh my God, everyone, give all the assistance required to the director from here, and prepare for some new arrivals. Misurugi Empire. The first prince of the empire of Misurugi was pissed. No, more than pissed, if there was a word for it. As the implications flood this mind as he saw his father Jirai arrested and taken away with Momoka seeing to a fainted Sylvia, there was only one thing he needed to do. They needed to secure both Angelis and their mother Sophia, as Naruto turned to the girls beside him who looked just like him, only female. The first princess of the now soon-to-be defunct empire of Misurugi, Naruko Ikuruga Misurugi. She a few inches shorter than Naruto with the same blonde hair that long and tied in pigtails, blue eyes, whisker marks on her cheeks, and wearing a long blue and green royal corset dress. When she was born alongside Naruto, Naruto knew that it was Shinigami's way of screwing with him. Nevertheless, she's pretty much him in every way, except female. Naruko, go get the Quinjets. I'm going after Ka-san and Angelis. Already summoning one. Good thing I brought 4 Quinjets with me. 4. Then send one to the safe house and tell everyone to evacuate to uzushio stat. You heard my brother felt, now go. Yes, ma'am. Naruto and Naruko then nodded to each other and sped their separate ways, with Naruko heading to the landing pad where her personal Quinjet was as Naruto jumped onto the stage. Stop right there. Naruto hit the ground as bullets flew over him, and activated a mana barrier around himself as he got up and glared at Julio at the same time he was surrounded by the guards and security. And where do you think you're going, dear Nisama? Julio asked acidly. I think it's obvious, fool, so why ask? Naruto countered as his eye flitted from Julio to his red and gold-clad silver-haired, golden-eyed confident, Riza Rundog, who pointed her red-colored mana at Naruto, who never seen a different colored mama before. Other than that, I have nothing more to say to you. Before anyone could make a move, Naruto gathered chakra in his fist and punched the ground, causing it to shake and dust to spread with everyone around him trying to keep their balance and see. When it cleared, Naruto was nowhere to be found. Find him, now. If he or his whores resist, kill them. Julio ordered, and keep Sylvia close. Yes, sir. Naruto meanwhile had a tablet out that allowed him to his mother's mana trail, and opened the doors one by one. Naruto-sama, CC yelled through the comms, we're with Angelis and Sophia-sama but we're surrounded. Worse, Sophia-sama's hit in the side of the neck. Colin added before screaming, she needs medical attent, stay back. Damn it, I'm almost there. Keep my mother stabilized. Just hold on. The Quinjets will be there in a minute. Naruto called through the comms. Shut the hell up, Angelis. You're not helping matters. Sake snapped, hey. Gunshots were suddenly heard over the comms, followed by Colin screaming and swearing. Gah, son of a bitch, she yelled, after intercepting a bullet meant for Angelis and hit her in the arm, just as Naruto arrived and erected a mana shield that surrounded himself, Angelis, Sophia, CC, Colin, Ayano, Sake, Shoko, and Akira. Naruto, Where the hell are you? Naruto shouted. Bullets riddled his shield, with Shoko holding Angelis back so she wouldn't accidentally touch Naruto like she did her mother, which got her a bullet in the neck. I'm here. 3 Quinjets appeared and hovered over the large crowd, with Gatling guns from their bottoms appearing and aimed at the police. All right, you stupid bakas. Lay down your weapons so we can retrieve our friends, or you will get multiple brand new holes to breathe though. Naruto yelled through the mic as the gun barrels started spinning. The police pointed their guns at the Quinjets and opened fire, but the bullets disintegrated on the Quinjets' energy shields. Naruto retaliated by opening fire herself along with the other pilots of the Quinjets, breaking through the mana shields and wounding some of the offenders on the ground that finally got them to back off. Come on, Naruto said as he carefully picked up Sophia and guides the others towards Naruto's Quinjet when it descended and opened the back door. Get in. Stop them, Julio yelled when he appeared just as everyone got in board with the Quinjet closing its door and taking off. No. Next stop, Uzushio, Naruto declared as Ayano took over the wheel and directed the other Quinjets to follow her. Ka-san, hang in there, Naruto said as he applied a healing jutsu on her. Don't stop fighting. What is going on? What kind of joke is this? Angelis cried, as she didn't believe what was happening was real, and still was not believing it. Shut up, shut up, shut up, just shut up, Naruto snapped as she began to stop her mother's bleeding. A medical team is waiting on standby when we arrived, CC reported after getting off the phone. Very good, Naruto said before looking at the unconscious Sophia. You're not dying on me, Ka-san. There's a ton of questions that needs to be answered after that happened today. Like why you hid from us that Angelis is a Norma, Naruto added as she stopped the bleeding completely at the same time Akira finished bandaging Colin's arm. I am not a Norma, Angelis protested angrily. I am nothing like them. Walking through that mana barrier the police set up while touching your mother and disrupting your mother's mana shield says otherwise. CC said coolly. Your pride and arrogance is the cause of your mother's current condition. I suggest you drop it. Where we're going has no place for that, Ayano added as she saw the 4th Quinjet arrive. As second princess of the Misurugi EMP. Won't help you at Uzushio, Angelis. Now shut up. If you annoy us any further, you will be enlisted at the Arsenal military base on Uzushio Island. Don't test me, Naruto said, his patience with Angelis deteriorating rapidly. Actually Naruto-ni, that's not such a bad idea. After all, there's the thing, Naruto said while smiling evilly. The thing, that thing, Naruto asked, as she thought Naruto would be against it. The very thing. Besides, I believe a few doses of despair should be enough to cut the strings that attach her to the hatred of Norma. Naruto offered, not losing her grin. There are no strings on me. Norma deserve their fate. They disrupt the balance of our world. Angelis said, with everyone looking at her with pity now. Our mother should have never have been hurt by something so meaningless. Well, thank you for making this easy, Naruto said smiling, before his smile morphed into a cold look and snapped his fingers. In an instant, CC and Sake had Angelis restrained with cuffs on her. What are you doing? Release me, Oni-sama, Oni-sama. Sorry Angelis, there is a saying. Keep your words soft and sweet because you may have to eat them later, Naruto remarked as Naruto added a final touch by duct taping Angelis's mouth. Thank you. My pleasure. I've been wanting to do that since she first spouted off the usual non-original anti-Norma speech. Uzushio Island, Arsenal military base. Upon entering Uzushio airspace, one of the Quinjets that's carrying Midori and Sarah separated and went to another part of the island while the now 3 Quinjets touched down on the outside landing area for transport that connect to the hangar area. After they touched down, the waiting medical team rushed forward with a gurney and IV pouches as the door opened, with Naruto coming out carrying Sophia in his arms. Good thing we got back in time before the storm hit. Do not let her die, Naruto ordered the medical team as Naruto set Sophia on the gurney. Yes, sir, they chanted as one and immediately headed towards the medical bay. I've informed Jill and Emma about our new recruit here. Emma is complaining of course, but Jill seems interested, CC said to Naruto, who nodded and looked at Angelis, who was trying to yell through her gag. Good, you ladies know where to take her. I'll meet up with them later before her physical, Naruto said before jerking his head to the side to signal them to take Angelis away. You got it. Come on. Move it, princess, not that you will be one after tonight. Sake said as she and CC dragged a struggling Angelis away. A while later, Norma number 1203-77, Angelis Ikaruga Misurugi. Born in the Empire of Misurugi. 16 years old, 16, huh. Due to your past behavior, you are drafted into the arsenal military of Uzushio Island from now on. You will be required to fight as a soldier. After Angelis was booked, she found herself in a holding cell that was illuminated briefly by the bolts of lightning outside, with two authority figures of the Arsenal military complex, Jill and Emma. Jill is the Commander General of Arsenal who's a Norma. She's 29 years old with black hair, tied in a ponytail, purple eyes, and wearing the standard uniform of the Arsenal military force. There's also more to her that meets the eye. Emma Bronson is the Inspector General who's a mana user from the Kingdom of Rosenbloom. She's 22 years old with green hair, orange eyes, and attire that shows she's from the Rosenbloom Kingdom. Ah, Director, Chief, just in time, Emma said as Naruto and Naruko entered the dark and dank room. We were just wrapping up processing her. Good, how's she cooperating? Naruto asked, not taking her eyes off Angelis. So far, she hasn't put off any form of resistance. Emma informed him to his approval. Oni-sama, Oni-sama, what is this place? What's happening to me? Mother, what happened to our mother? Angelis demanded, stepping forward but stopped when Naruto raised his hand. Let me see her. Now, please. Still think this is a joke? It isn't. This is reality, but what the hell? I'll humor you since you've barely listened to Emma here. Naruto said as Emma frowned and stepped forward herself. But Naruto-sama, she doesn't need to know. Emma, zip it, Naruto sang sweetly as more lightning struck, making the Inspector General flinch before respectfully stepping back. Thank you. Now, where was I? Naruto said, adopting a mock-thinking pose before snapping his fingers. Oh yes. You were in the Arsenal military complex on Uzushio Island, a safe haven for Norma. Because of your anti-Norma sentiment, you're being separated from the Norma who chooses to live in peace. You're not the only who received this treatment, as problem Norma are sent here to serve in the military here. As for Ka-san, we just got word that she's going to pull though. As for you, Naruko said as she got into Angelis's face, who stepped back, well, your bout as princess ends here, and you're going to be working for a change. Here at Uzushio Island, everyone works. For now, we'll hold on to your belongings. Wait, stop it. Angelis yelled as Naruko took off her earrings and necklace and was about to take her ring when she reared back. You're doing this just to humiliate me, aren't you? You don't deserve to touch my ring. You've never been part of my family since you rather associate yourself with these Norma. How dare you disrespect the chief of security? Emma said angrily as she reached for her whip. Calm yourself, Officer Emma Bronson. Jill chided her, making her stop. While Norma must be dealt by another Norma, our director and chief knows what they're doing. Emma, keys, Naruto said, with Emma handing Naruto the key to Angelis's restraints. You can't blame Angelis for continuing to be in her little fantasy. Beside, weren't all Norma like her before I took over? True, Jill agreed as Naruto freed Angelis, who rubbed her sore wrists. I'm not a Norma. This is all simply a prank gone too far. The Empire of Misurugi will do nothing. You can thank our dear brother for that, Naruto said as he held up a certain object, making her gasp and look at her hand to find the ring. Sophia, even her is gone. How did you? Angelis asked, shocked as Naruto grinned. Guess you don't know your big siblings as well as you think you do, Angelis. I'll hold on to this for you, while you enjoy Jill and Emma's hospitality. Naruto turned and headed towards the door, with Naruto following behind. Wait, give me back my ring. It's not yours, Angelis shouted, lunging after Naruto, but Jill stepped between them and kicked Angelis across the room. What, never been kicked before? Naruto asked in a playful tone as Angelis coughed in pain. It's extraordinary that she made it to 16 without once using mana. Jill noted as she stood over a trembling Angelis. You never found it strange, Director? We didn't know back then until today. We were dealing with other stuff, so we didn't get any red flags when Momoka-chan used mana for Angelis here. Naruto admitted and shrugged. No, Chu-san said that I didn't have to use mana because I was of the royal family. Angelis explained as Jill pulled her back up to a vertical base. Give me my ring back. If you're not a Norma as you claim and this isn't one of our pranks, then, Naruto held out the palm of his head with the ring resting on it. By all means, use mana to take it back. Go ahead. Jill let Angelis go as Angelis nodded and held out her hand, light of mana. Quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote. Nothing happened. The ring didn't even budge an inch in Naruto's hand. Light of mana, Angelis cried out desperately. Quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote, quote, comma, quote. After 5 more seconds, still nothing, as realization kicked in for Angelis, much to her horror. Now do you see? I'm sorry to say it, but you can't use mana. Naruto said as he pocketed the ring, but to be honest, I'm glad. Now there's a chance for you to unchain yourself from the shackles of society back in the mainland. And if I have to drop you on the highway to hell that is here in this Arsenal military base to do so, then so be it. Hopefully you will survive the preparation for the storm that is to come. And we pray that you have it, to make this gamble we're taking will you worth it. Naruto said as Naruto opened the door to leave. Until then, you have nothing. Neither the privileges of royalty, or any rights as a person. Jill added as she took a combat knife out and held it near a frightened Angelis's throat. Welcome to hell. Oni-sama, Oni-sama, help me, please. I'm not a Norma, Angelis cried out as the twins looked impassive. If you are not a Norma, then why couldn't you retrieve it with the mana you claim you have? You have a job now, and that's to live on, no matter what. Ka-san said that to you, right? Naruto asked, leaving as Naruto looked back at Angelis. If you can do that, if you can survive this hell, then your eyes will be open wide enough to see and understand the nature of the real monsters that dwell in this cruel world that we live in. Fight and survive, Naruto said and left as well, closing the door behind him as the storm outside raged. You're all insane. Let's see go. I am the Empire Misurugi's second princess, Angelis Ikaruga Misurugi. Angelis screamed before the sound of a slap from Herd. Number. From now on, your age. Jill said simply before cutting into her clothing. Do you really think dropping Angelis in hell will work? Naruto asked as she and Naruto exited the hallway where the holding cells are and found themselves passing the mess hall. Pain and gain. It's time that Angelis worked for a change. Besides, what kind of person like our sister doesn't know how to dress themselves? Plus, it was your idea since you believed that Angelis has the hidden key necessary to pilot the Vilcus. Naruto told her as Naruto laughed nervously. True, true, Naruto admitted as they reached the elevators. I just hope those two won't handle Angelis too roughly. At that moment, lightning struck as a loud scream of pain echoed through the base. Ouch, who knew Angelis had a pair of lungs on her? Naruto remarked, making Naruto sweat drop as he called an elevator. Naruto, go check on our new arrivals. I'll go check on our other project. Naruto said after a while with Naruto nodding as an elevator arrived. Got it, Naru-ni. She confirmed while disappearing in a quick flash of red. Now then, Naruto said as he entered the elevator that closed once he got in. Taking out a key, he inserted it into a keyhole and turned it, revealing a new button on the bottom labeled Valhalla. Punching the button for it, the elevator proceeded to head straight down. Uzushio Residual District. This place was everything you said it would be. Midori said as she looked around her and Sarah's new home that is a house. Hey, my brother's a man of his word. Naruto said brightly, and I'm a woman of my word too. Midori nodded, thank you. No problem. Don't worry, we guarantee your safety here. However, there are some things you need to know. Naruto said as she produced a large book. What is it? Midori asked as she and Naruto sat down on the couch. Something that the world leaders wants hidden from the rest of the world, and what will protect you from besides the ones that are anti-Norma. Naruto said as she looked the book to show to Midori, Dragons. Ending theme. Rinrei Imperious Bell by Eri Kitamura. Valhalla. Command Bridge. Hey Naruto, I was just about to call you down. I'm sorry to hear about Angelis and Sophia-san. Trust me, this whole thing came out of left field. Did this new system happen to detect Angelis being a Norma? Yes. Just great. And thanks to that little test run, the system can now differentiate between Mana users and Norma. Also, I've just installed the facial recognition software and linked it to the program. Good. Now we can find them. It's been so long. Agreed. I never thought we would follow you to this new crapsack world. Oh. You found one of them. Yes. Hiding now. Yes. I'm glad I'm not the only one who reincarnated with you, Naruto. Get everything you can on her so I can make preparations to get her. I knew I could count on you, Karen-chan. Always. Just hang on. We're coming for you, Ino. Flashback. At the final stretch of the Fourth Shinobi World War, Naruto, along with his teammates Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura, defeated the rabbit goddess Otsutsuki Kagaya, the Raikudo Sennin's mother. Since she was downright unkillable, she was tightly sealed inside Naruto, with black Zetsu blown to hell from a concentrated blow of truth-seeking balls by Naruto. Afterwards, Sasuke betrayed the Shinobi Alliance and struck out against his former teammates, first by crippling Kakashi, followed by dealing Sakura a fatal blow. Ironically, Sasuke's actual Chidori attack against Sakura broke a seal placed upon her when she was a child that made her love lean towards Sasuke instead of her true crush. Sasuke attempted to kill Naruto next, but utterly failed when Naruto absorbed his Yin Sage chakra and awakened the Rinne Sharingan due to his rage at Sasuke's actions, and ended up killed by Naruto's Hiraishin truth-seeking massive Rasenshuriken. With Naruto using the Yang Sage chakra and the Yin Sage chakra to release everyone from the Shinju, Naruto was hailed the hero of the world, and thanks to the Clan Restoration Act in the International Shinobi Law, went on to marry his many fiancés he loved, achieved his dream of becoming Hokage, and restored his mother's and father's clans. He loved his wives, and the feelings were all mutual, which is no doubt the reason why Hinata, Ino, Haku, Tenten, Anko, Yugao, Tamari, Kin, Tayuya, Karen, Yakumo, Shion, Samui, Konan, Shizuka, and Sakura were all able to reincarnate along him in the new world that is the Mana Utopia in different forms. Naruto suspected that just like Naruto being born with him, Kagaya and Shinigami had something to do with his wives' presences. Naruto was first made aware of the possibility of his loved one's presences back when he grew into a teenager, with Karen being assigned his maid in the empire of Misurugi, just like Momoka to Angelis. At first, Naruto didn't know what to make of it, since Karen has no memory of their time together in the past, so he guessed that she was his descendant. But that theory went out the window during his fateful, first trip to the Norma-inhabited island that was soon to be Uzushio, Arsenal. The entire island was more like a military installation prison than anything, and Naruto was appalled with the way the Norma act, along with some of their living conditions, and the food they're served, among other things he observed while given the tour. It was during the tour that he saw Shizuka, who was a Norma and part of the Arsenal military. Thankfully, she was kind and pleasant, unlike some of the other Norma, who decided to be antisocial and violent like the other Mana users say about them. As Naruto and Karen hung out with Shizuka, some of the Norma harassed them under the pretext of revenge, and while Karen attempted to defend her master, she was struck into Naruto, and they accidentally kissed, a kiss that restored Karen's memories of her previous life with Naruto. After the troublesome Norma were driven off, Naruto and Karen had a tearful reunion when the former was struck by inspiration and kissed Shizuka as well, who was caught off guard. As expected, Shizuka memories returned as well, and she joined in on the reunion, that was then cut short by an alarm blaring through the base, and Shizuka had to go. When investigating and getting into the command center, Naruto saw the true reason of why Norma was sent to Arsenal. They were forcibly drafted into an off-the-books military force to be trained to fight and use transforming mobile mecha suits called paramales to fight interdimensional beasts codenamed dragons, dimensional rift-attuned gargantuan organic neototype that come through a singular point to invade the world. The sight of the Norma fighting the dragons awakened Naruto's battle instincts that lied dormant during his rebirth, and went to join the fight on a spare paramale that had yet to be launched, with Karen hopping in the backseat as it launched. The other paramale riders were getting killed left and right until Naruto intervened. After taking out the dragons, Naruto responded to a distress call of a far-off paramale rider named Electra, who lost her arm, and managed to save her and her paramail named Vilcus before they crashed into the water. After the campaign, Naruto, Karen, and Shizuka got together under the island and planned to take over Arsenal from the kingdom of Rosenbloom to make things better. The additional goal of finding the other reincarnated girls, with Naruto's connection given his status as royalty, Karen's knack for getting blackmail material and her skills in technology, and Shizuka's knowledge of the island of Arsenal, it would work to be a perfect base. When they discovered the uzushio symbol in the abandoned cavern therein, they put their plan into motion. How they managed to pull it off is a story for another time, but Naruto has accomplished a lot in terms of changing things, unlocking the Norma girls' potentials, and finding his other reincarnated wives, despite meeting some slight resistance that was managed swiftly. Opening theme: Kinden no Resistance, Forbidden Resistance by Nana Mizuki. Uzushio, Naruto's estate, present day. Naruto had just woken up and finished doing his morning calisthenics, readying to tackle the day ahead. It's been few days since his little sister and now fallen princess of the Empire of Misurugi, Angelis Sakuruga Misurugi, was rechristened as Ange and drafted into Uzushio's Arsenal's military. While Naruto and Naruko allowed Jill and Emma to oversee Ange's physical, the twins were pretty pissed upon seeing the state Ange was in afterwards, giving off the impression that she was raped. When confronted about it, Jill stated in her defense that Ange was resisting a lot so unruly that her mechanical hand and arm had to go under maintenance. Despite the trauma she suffered, Ange was still her rebellious self, believing that everything was a misunderstanding and what happened was staged, despite all the evidence to the contrary. However, her resistance showed that she had a strong will and an unwavering spirit, yet still had to be tempered. Unfortunately, said continuous resistance and her constant degrading of Norma were getting on the threads of her sibling twins' final nerves. Naruto boya, come back to bed. Please do, we'll make it worth your while. Naruto rolled his eyes once he got dressed and pulled the covers off his king-sized bed, only to meet resistance as the two beautiful women on his bed, one with light green hair and yellow eyes with a voluptuous body, and the other with platinum blonde hair and blue eyes with the body of a young woman with large breasts, tugged back. Sorry, but if we keep continuing, we'll never get anything done. Plus, I would think that you two would get toward teaching the other younglings since you are teachers, Morgan, Eva-chan. Now upsy daisy. With a yank, Naruto sent the two naked girls flying and crashing onto the ground. With a few quick one-handed hand seals, Naruto doused them with cold water. Cold. Of online Athanasia Catherine McDowell shrieked as shivers went through her body. That was mean, Naruto-kun, Morgan Ainsland whined as Eva landed on her to share body heat. I'll make it up to you, my lovely succubus and Shinso vampire. Naruto said with a grin as Naruko entered the master bedroom, morning. That it is, Naru-ni. I was just about to go see Ange. Come with, Naruko asked and looked in amusement at Morgan and Eva entering the shower. Might as well, if I stay, those two will drain me in more way than one. Naruto joked as they departed. Morgan Ainsland and Evangeline A.K. McDowell. Their origins were a history since they couldn't remember some of their past, but they do remember exactly who and what they are. They came from a singular point some time after Naruto and Naruko took control of Arsenal. Due to them being unique, Naruto offered them a home on the newly established Uzushio, which they accepted. It was through Eva that Naruto became a magister and Naruko became a ministra, and both entered a contract with Eva and Morgan, with others soon following who are those that share a close and special relationship with Naruto, as evidenced by the Pactio cards they carried on their person. While it was never Naruto's intent to take Arsenal now Uzushio for the girls inhabited on it, some of the girls took an interest in Naruto despite him being a mana user, and not because he's one of the only few males in the island, nor because he's a Norma sympathizer. They just happened to like him for his personality, charisma, his leadership skills, and the changes he's made that made life more manageable for them. Arsenal Military Complex. These are the massive, hostile creatures who traverse space-time, known as dragons. To protect human territory by intercepting and destroying them is the task of the Norma in the Arsenal military here on Uzushio. Originally, we Norma were allowed to live in this world solely as weapons that kill dragons. But now thanks to our director, we have a place in the world, and a choice to fight the dragons. Despite the choice we make, it doesn't stop us from fighting to defend ourselves. Let's not forget that as we give our all to fight them. A young brunette teacher lectured her class full of young girls below 10 years of age. Yes, ma'am, they chorused excitedly. Understand, Ange. Jill pressed Ange, who was part of the class and wasn't even paying attention except perking up at Jill's voice. The Empire of Misurugi will send a release order for me soon. Ange mumbled, making Jill along with Emma shaking their heads as the door to the classroom opened. Don't hold your breath for it. You'll die, Naruto replied dryly as she and Naruto entered. Oh, Director, Chief, what a surprise, the teacher said and gesturing to her class, everyone. Salute the Director and Chief. Yes, ma'am, they said, standing up and saluting the two most powerful people on the island in terms of power, strength, and influence. At ease, little ones, Naruto said, waving it off, are you learning a lot? Hi, the girls said as one, making Naruto smile. Excellent, here's some advice from yours truly. Learn all that you can, no matter how significant or insignificant the knowledge is. You never know if something you think isn't important might end up important after all. Naruto said, with the class nodding. Director, I believe Ange's education here is done. However, due to reports of her attitude these past few days, I suggest that she be assigned to the first squad. Jill spoke up, with Naruto raising an eyebrow at the suggestion. Zola's squad, she has a considerable amount of patience, but some of the other girls on the squad might not. Is my little sister's behavior that bad? Naruto asked the teacher, who grimaced and nodded, making twin-tailed blonde groan. Request granted, Jill. The first squad it is then. Inform Zola. She and her team should be in the hangar area. Naruto, contact Sake and tell her to meet us up there. Naruto commanded as he grabbed Ange by her arm and pulled her out of the classroom. Let's go. As Naruto dragged Ange out with Naruto and Jill carrying out his orders, an audience from the hangar area watched them through the window. So, that's the princess everyone's talking about. The pure-blooded princess, she sounds sweet and delicious. You don't care as long it's somebody new, right? What, are you jealous? You girls are so cute. Captain, take it easy with the skinship. We get complaints about how hard you massage the newcomers. Fine, I'll be careful, Deputy Chief. Quote, she's an older newcomer, but be nice to her, you too. Alright. Hey Salia, time for a quiz. Who's going to die first? It's our job to teach them so they won't die. Ow, I'm gonna die. Getting along well today too, I see. Back with Naruto and Ange. Wait, Oni-sama. Ange resisted as they left the Empire. Have you heard anything from? No. Chu-san, Julio, and Sylvia are currently Mia, and the palace has been commandeered by the authorities on the order of the World Council. They're not sending any order for your release anytime soon. Naruto stated flatly. That can't be right. Ange protested, trying to jerk her hand away, but failed. Then the other kingdoms will write up petitions then and I'll send them. Like Naruto said, don't hold your breath. Naruto said in a bored tone as Naruto and Jill caught up to them. Valhalla. Karen sighed, drinking some coffee as she went over several sheets of maps and blueprints to where her reincarnated harem sister Ino was located in an effort to create a rescue operation. Ino was born a Norma outside the Empire of Misurugi and was caught in the worst kind of hell. There are those who capture Norma and enslave them into labor camps for their own personal use. Ino's new family, who were actually mana users, were killed preventing her from getting kidnapped. It's been several years since then. Setting her mug down, she looked around the room she was in, eyeing her fellow harem sisters she and Naruto managed to save or retrieve so far aside from Shizuka, who's now in charge of the residential district on the island, who was with them in the beginning. Anko. She was born a mana user living a regular life until she and Naruto happened to bump into each other. Recognizing her from Naruto's memories, she brought a confused Anko to Naruto when he was in town in the Empire of Misurugi at the time. One kiss later, Anko got her memories, and cue tearful reunion. On Uzushio, she's in charge of Arsenal's torture and interrogation unit. Yugao. She was born a Norma who was on the run from the authorities when it was revealed that she was a Norma. When her description got out, Naruto and Naruto took off after her and managed to retrieve her. Naruto even kissed her on the spot, allowing her get her memories, and cue another tearful reunion. On Uzushio, she's in charge of the Anbu division that actually separate from the military and takes orders directly from Naruto and Naruko. Chiyuya, she was born a Norma and was actually part of Arsenal, who spent most of the time in the brig foul-mouthing off to authority, around the time Naruto finally managed to acquire Arsenal and renamed it to Uzushio. She downright hated everyone, and always vowed to kick somebody's ass. When Naruto dealt with her, he had to remain her with chakra chains before kissing her to restore her memories. After the little reunion, she calmed down to a degree. She works as island security under Naruto, granting her access to everywhere. Shion, like Anko, she was born a mana user. She was working with a religious sect somewhere in the kingdom of Rosenbloom, and was forced to be a shut-in for her safety and special power to predict people's deaths like in her previous life. When Naruto heard, he arranged a meeting with her under a different identity, and when they met, Naruto kissed her. Shion got her memories, cue tearful reunion, and escaped with Naruto. She is currently the head priestess at the Uzu shrine. Samui, she was born a Norma who was part of a small resistance full of extremists. When she tried to get out along with others, they were caught until their backup and retrievers in the form of Naruto, Naruko, and a select few others, rescued them. Afterwards, Naruto surprised a startled Samui with a kiss, restoring her memories. Their reunion wasn't fair though, since Samui was, in her words, cool, but nonetheless happy to be back with Naruto. She is leader of the Hellcat unit on Uzushio, the name being an homage to her sister Yugito and her Biju, Matabi, the Nibi no Bakeneko. Konan, she was born a mana user who was recently divorced from her no-good husband who saw fit to cheat on her. She was in a bar in the empire of Misurugi, drowning her sorrows for marrying such a man when Naruto and Naruko came in, looking to compete against each other in a drinking contest. They saw Konan, who in a drunken state, decided to look for relief in the form of Naruto, and outright kissed him. When her memories returned, she nearly broke down, but Naruto was there for her. After riddling her ex with countless papercuts, she signed on as Naruto's advisor concerning company and political manners for Flash Whirlpool Industries. And thanks to Eva, she helped them make pactios with Naruto that restored their ninja abilities, with a few extra perks. The only ones missing were Ino, of course, along with Hinata, Haku, Tenten, Tamari, Kin, Yakumo, and Sakura. And they will find them. With the new system that had facial recognition and access to very camera in the world of mana, with images of the girls entered in, it was only a matter of time. Arsenal, salute the director, the chief, and the commander. The 9 members of the first squad saluted as Naruto, Naruko, Jill, and Ainge come up to them in the hangar just as Sake arrived. At ease, Naruto said and turned to Sake, "Did I interrupt you from anything?" "Nope, no new case, so I'm kinda bored after I hit the gym." Sake admitted while she shrugged. "Super, I'm having you observe Ainge here while she's integrated into the first squad here. Make sure things don't get too out of hand," Naruto ordered her as he received a text. "Oh wonderful, me spending time with the infamous first squad for who knows how long, joy." Sake sighed and looked at Ainge, who wasn't looking at anyone, maiming level. "At your discretion." Naruto shrugged after reading the text and turned to the leader of the first squad. "I'll let you handle the rest, Captain Zola." "Sir, yes, sir. You can count on us," the busty purple-clad blonde confirmed, as Naruto, Naruko, and Jill went their separate ways, and smirked at Ainge. "Welcome to the first squad of death. I'm Captain Zola." Ainge was suddenly knocked out of her thoughts as she gasped at Zola fondling her ass and pushed her towards the others. "Deputy Chief, kindly introduce her," Zola ordered as she licked her fingers. "Yes, ma'am." The blue-haired twin-tailed deputy chief responded as Ainge edged away from Zola. "I'm Deputy Chief Salia. This is our assault soldier, Vivian." "What's up?" The short pink-haired girl clad in pink saluted excitedly. And Hilda, the redhead with higher twintails and clan in red, just smirked at her. "Rosalie is our light artillery," Salia continued, gesturing to the light brunette wearing yellow, "and Chris here is—" "Oi, oi, aren't you going a bit too fast?" Sake interrupted Salia. "The princess here isn't even paying attention to." Are these all Norma?" Ainge asked quietly with a small glare. Oh boy, here we go, Sake muttered as some of the member of the first squad looked insulted. Not surprising that you didn't get the memo due to your sheltered life, Ainge. It's already been established that we Norma are just humans with the ability to negate mana at the cost of not being able to use it. I'd say it's a better payoff, since mana users in your former empire are weak compared to us. You'll see what I mean soon enough, Hilda elaborated with a bloodthirsty grin, with the brunette Rosalie and the silver-haired girl Chris next to her nodding in agreement. Yep, we're all Norma, just like you, and it makes us more awesome than the mana users. Vivian told Ainge, extending a hand out to her, wanting to be friends. We'll be good friends, okay. Ainge gritted her teeth angrily. I am not. I am the empire of Misurugi's second princess, Angelis Misurugi. I am in no way a Norma. But you can't use mana, right? Vivian pointed out the obvious truth. The director and chief even went as far as to teach you the exercises yesterday, and you still couldn't produce mana. Sake added while laughing lightly, the test you took before your physical proved that. The light of mana just doesn't reach this far, Ainge mumbled lamely. What the hell were they teaching you at the institute? News flash. The light of mana reaches everywhere on this planet, even here, or have you forgot the fact that your older siblings and Emma can use mana here? Baka. Ainge was struck dumb. She has forgotten about that. 4i, woman using mana to chain to the table during her physical aka cavity search. In the state, I assured you. Just shut up before you embarrass yourself further. Sake advised her as Zola laughed. God damn it, director, your little sister's quite the crazy one. She sniggered, she's not even aware of her situation. She's defective. So the defect is being condescending? Rosalie asked snidely. Oh, ouch, what a burn. Chris cooed amusingly. You're the defect's aw. Ainge cried out when Hilda stamped on her foot and grabbed her by shirt. Know your place, burn princess. Hilda snarled as she dug her heel into Ainge's foot. Come on girls, let's leave it there, Ursha said, trying to keep the peace. What, we need to smack the delusion out of ugly bitches like her. Hilda countered with Rosalie and Chris voicing their agreements. True, but, Ainge didn't that ugly. Vivian piped up. You're always too soft, Ursha. Hilda noted annoyingly as Zola started giving out orders. That's why the newcomers always act tough. Salia, you take care of Ainge. Teach her everything. Yes, ma'am. Salia responded as Zola put her arm around and leaned on Ainge. Be nice to the promising newcomer, everyone. We're all Norma here after all. Zola grinned at an uncomfortable Ainge. All right ladies. At this moment, we're starting team training. Ursha, Rosalie, Chris, you're with me. We'll be executing long-ranged attack formations. Salia, Hilda, Vivian, you three will be training the newcomers. Have fun. Yes, ma'am. The girls in Zola's squad went on to execute their leader's orders, with Ainge not budging an inch as Salia walked behind her. This way, Ainge, Salia instructed softly. No one can give orders to royalty. No craps were given as Salia caught Ainge in a submission hold and brought a combat knife to her throat. Here, your superior's orders are absolute, regardless of status. Salia countered simply. Got that? Scared out of her mind, Ainge nodded quickly. Naruto Onisama, help me. She is definitely worse than any other troublesome newcomer. At least she has a strong will. Sake mused as Salia dragged Ainge away at knife point. Naruto's office, a week later. These results are encouraging. I knew Ainge's experience with Iaria would come in handy to contribute to her paramale piloting ability. Naruto said as he looked over Ainge's file. Basic fitness, reflexes, combat adaptability, understanding of military theory, all above average. Even that's impressive. You're right on the button, Naruto ni. Naruto agreed as she sat on his desk with a coffee mug in hand. It's pretty obvious, from a normal standpoint observation that is. As we suspected, Naruto said as he flipped a page, she's not doing all this to survive here on the island. She's enduring all the training to gain strength to escape from here. Naruto finished for him and downed her coffee, even the others agree. As your old friend Shikamaru would say, troublesome. How should we proceed? Naruto sighed in response, slamming the file down on his desk, as there was a knock on the door. Come in. You called for us, director. Jill asked as she, Emma, and Kagaya, dressed in a form-fitting military uniform, entered the room. Indeed, Naruto said as Kagaya closed the door, I'll be leaving around noon to go on a personal mission, and I'm leaving Naruto here in charge until my return. Understood. Anything else? Jill requested. I don't want you to misunderstand here on this next bit. I've read the report on Ange and it's more than satisfactory. However, recent observations from Officer Sake indicates that Ange is not ready for field work, and there's a high risk that she might try and escape, despite the knowledge that the Paramails has limited fuel. I don't want to take that risk that'll lead to any deaths. Naruto explained. Besides, there haven't been any death in the past 5 years since he adapted and upped our game. Naruto added brightly, no need to change the status quo on that. The new toys we integrated into our forces contributed too. Kagaya added as well, speaking of which, the bunny Shinonono wants to see you before you go. The new machines are ready for a live field test the next time the dragons come around, and the pilots have been chosen. Good, everyone's dismissed. I've said all that I need to say. Naruto said with everyone nodding. So basically Ange is on the reserve list then? Jill questioned with Naruto scowling at her, isn't that considered favoritism? No, it isn't. Ange isn't to go near a Paramail period. She's too much of a flight risk because of her continuous denial. I thought you of all people would know that. Naruto said as he left, until further notice, Ange is grounded. She will be flying a Paramail in the future. Just not now, Naruto said and she too left. They're still too naive, Jill mumbled to herself, with Emma looking confused and Kagaya glaring at her. It's not naive, it's logic. Obvious logic that I'm surprised you disagree with. Kagaya stated and shook her head, idiot. Valhalla. Dr. Shinonono's lab. Naruto-kun. Upon entering, Naruto promptly leaned to the side to avoid a purple streak that was a young girl with long purple hair that reaches to her hips, purple eyes, a busty figure, wearing a lab coat over a frilly blue and white dress, and sporting a pair of robotic rabbit ears. Because, why not? Yo, Tabane. Naruto deadpanned as Tabane Shinonono crashed to the floor where Naruto was. Mo. Why did you dodge, Naruto-kun? Tabane whined with her head sporting a bandage that came from nowhere, with Naruto shrugging as helped the energetic bunny up. I had enough girls hanging on me to last a week. So, you finished the infinite stratus machines? Naruto asked, with Tabane nodding eagerly. And the lucky chosen are right here with theirs already chosen. She said, gesturing to the girls who were dressed in swimsuit-like attire in the room who saluted upon Naruto spotting them, the Chifuyu squad. Roll call. Ladies, he commanded, your name and his designation. Chifuyu Orimura, leader of the Chifuyu squad. His designation. White Knight Byakushiki. Said the tall 24-year-old woman with long black hair tied in a ponytail, red eyes, and a regal figure. Tadanashi Katana Sarashiki, the Chifuyu squad's second in command. His designation. Mysterious Lady. Said the shorter 16-year-old girl next to her with short light blue hair, dark red eyes, and a voluptuous figure with slender thighs. Huki Shinonono. His designation. Akatsubuki. Said the 16-year-old teenage girl with long brown hair tied in a ponytail tied with a white and red ribbon, dark blue eyes, and a very well-endowed figure. Cecilia Alcott. His designation. Blue Tears. Said the 15-year-old British-looking girl with long blonde hair with a blue headband, blue eyes, and a figure like a model. Lingyan Ren Huang. His designation. Shenlong. Said the fellow 15-year-old Chinese-looking girl with light brown hair in twintails tied with yellow ribbons, green eyes, and a petite figure. Charlotte Dunois. His designation. Raphael Revive Custom 2. Said the 15-year-old French-looking girl with long blonde hair tied in a low ponytail, purple eyes, and a figure like Huki's. Laura Bodewig. His designation. Schwarzer Region. Said the 15-year-old German-looking girl with long silver hair, a red right eye with a left yellow eye covered with an eye patch, and a petite figure like Lingyan's. Kanzashi Sarashiki. His designation. Uchigane Nishiki. Said the 15-year-old girl who is Tadanashi's sister with the same light blue hair and dark red eyes, but not a voluptuous figure like hers. Excellent. I expected great things as our new as pilots girls. At ease. Naruto nodded in satisfaction, with the girls relaxing. Now, one question. Are you ready to kick ass? Are you ready to whoop candy ass? We all knew the risks when we signed up. Not because we're all Norma. Chifuyu assured the director, me and my team will be at beck and call when it comes to fighting the dragons to protect our home and the ones living here. Good to know, ladies. Naruto said, grinning as Tabane clapped her hands. Hi, it's time for the final adjustments. Ladies, follow me. Tabane cheered, with the others groaned as they followed her to a different room with Tadanashi falling behind. Naruto, can I see you tonight? It's been a while, Tadanashi requested before grinning a flirtatious grin and holding up a Pactio card with her image on it with her donning hers and water surrounding her. You know you can see me whenever you want, Katana-chan. Naruto said and winked at her as he left. Tadanashi smiled as she hid her Pactio card and joined the others. Hangar Bay. Naruto hit the ignition on his paramail, and was pleased to hear it hum to life. His paramail was personally custom made by him and was a thing of beauty. With keen studying on the in and outs of paramail along with careful construction and combination of technology and seals, he created a unique paramail that blends long-range combat, melee combat, high-speed combat, and can carry heavy artillery. Based off the currently non-functioning paramail called Vilcus resting in the back of the hangar bay, Naruto called his machine, ACBX00000Xia, with its former name being Xia prototype, then Xia upon perfecting it to a degree. Be careful, Naru-ni, and bring Ino-chan back safely. I can't wait to meet her, Naruko said, with Naruto grinning and nodding in response. I will. If all goes well, I should be back with her by tonight. It also gives me the chance to test that cloaking device that'll keep me hidden from prying eyes and from radar. Naruto commented, wish me luck. Xia, now launching. Naruto jumped back as the Xia took off in flight mode and waved, musing, you won't need luck since you have the devil's luck. Sake-chan, what do you have for me? Aside from the usual hazing to break Ange, which isn't news of course, but CC and Colin found something of interest that you should know and the director should know. Sake reported as Naruto watched Naruto disappear into the horizon. We should take this somewhere private then. Gallia Empire, late afternoon. Holy shit, it really exists. The rumored last Norma labor facility right here in Gallia. Naruto growled as he viewed the seemingly empty building that's home to an illegal dump in the sub-level basements. This place could use a few TNTs when Naruto and her chosen team takes this place down. Shaking his head, Naruto used his ninja skills to infiltrate the place, which was pretty easy as he entered from the rooftop. From what he knows, the place has low security since the Norma inside wouldn't think of rebelling due to the cruel conditioning placed on them. Despite the fact that they could negate any mana targeting them. Using a holographic version of the blueprints Karen made, Naruto made this way down the stairwell and into a hidden elevator shaft that led to the sub-basements. According to the schematics, Ino should be in cell block C. A couple floors down, here. Naruto muttered as he jammed a kunai into the wall where the targeted floor is. He forced the doors open and slipped through them as they closed again. From here, he activated the prototype active camo, rendering himself invisible, and made his way down the dark hallways that were barely lit up. Mentally gagging, Naruto made a note to himself for Naruto to get here tomorrow post-haste to rescue the Norma from these disgusting conditions. As he passed by the cells containing enslaved Norma, Naruto threw something into them that'll help them tomorrow when Naruto comes calling, and upon reaching the end, he finally found Ino. She was chained and battered as all hell, with her platinum blonde hair and her green eyes completely void of life. Her clothing was torn so that it showed scars littering her once beautiful skin that was caked with grime and dirt. Her appearance further enforced the need to shut this place down, as Naruto used Kamui, something Shinigami got from Uchiha Obito and gave to Naruto, to slip through the bars. The stunt did not go unnoticed, as Ino looked up as Naruto reappeared via deactivating his active camo. Who are you? Are you an angel? She asked weakly as Naruto bent down to her level. As a matter of fact, yes, as well as your savior. He leaned in close to her, much to her curiosity, and your husband, Ino-chan. Before Ino could respond, Naruto deeply kissed her, much to her surprise, but was unable to dwell on it as memories from a past life flooded her mind, body, heart, soul, and being. Her past life is a kunoichi who was once a fangirl pining for an emo until events led her to her true love in the form of a blonde Uzumaki. From there, she became strong under him and become his lover along with her, and then they married, had children, and lived a happy life as shinobi and family until their time in the world has passed. And now there they are, reincarnated into a new world, a world in desperate need of a maelstrom engulfing it, as they put up, with Naruto seeing the life in Ino's eyes again, the same eyes he's so familiar with. Naruto-kun, Ino gasped, seeing him smile and familiar smile. In the flesh, welcome to the new world, Ino-chan. Naruto said as he freed her from the chains. Yeah, a bad one. I still have the memories of my former self before you've awakened me. Everything's crazy, and gotten worse since our time. Ino commented as Naruto supported her. Tell me about it. I'm getting you out of here, and then I'm having someone come here with a team to free the rest. Naruto told her with Ino nodding, but right now, I gotta get you out of here. How do you find me? Ino questioned before feeling the familiar effect of the Kamui Jutsu. Karen-chan. Naruto answered simply, to Ino's delight that she wasn't the only of Naruto's wives who was reincarnated alongside them, as Naruto teleported them to his ride. Uzushio. Arsenal. What's wrong Hilda-chan? Finished already? Please Zola-sama, let me rest a little. Pathetic. At your current pace, you won't even have the stamina to last one round with the director. Where are you going? You can rest easy. As for me, I'm not satisfied, yet. Arsenal Command Center. Ange, what is this? Naruto groaned as she flipped through a stack of papers Ange handed her. You should know, Naruko Onisama. It's an invocation of my entitlements as royalty, and a petition for my immediate release. Ange explained as Naruko rubbed her head with Jill, Emma, and the three girls looking in amusement. Please have this delivered to the heads of all states. Right away. Mo, you still don't get it? Emma asked in exasperation. 1, 2, 3, 4 petitions, all handwritten. Naruko said in mock impression without the slightest care in her voice as she slapped the papers onto the table. Not bad. Only one question. Are those new clothes you bought from Jasmine Mall, because they look good on you instead of Naomi's old ragged clothes? I was tired of wearing a dead Norma's clothes. Ange whispered before speaking normally. As for those. On the contrary Ange-chan, Naomi-chan is still alive in a comatose state, but that's besides the point. I didn't think you would seriously pull this, but what the hell? I'll amuse you, Naruko replied loudly as the door opened. Geez, what an absolute pain you are. Drinking again, Zola-chan. You really need to stop. Naruko deadpanned as Zola came in with a red robe that showed much of her cleavage and drinking from a flask. It helps me think, and I believe your little sister's head is extremely thick, and everything goes in one ear and out the other while detouring her brain. Zola commented as she walked up to them. She has been poorly educated. Jill told her simply. I wonder whose fault that is, Jill, Zola. Naruko sneered at them. You both were responsible after all. I apologize, Chief. Zola saluted, with Naruko nodding in understanding. It's not my fault she didn't listen to the teachers. Jill shrugged, making Naruko scowl at her as Zola eyed Ange up and down, who was looking uncomfortable under her gaze. You'll do quite nicely. Zola declared as she grabbed Ange's wrist in a vice grip. May I borrow that lovely room of yours, Chief? Go ahead. I may not be sleeping in it tonight. Naruko said and threw the keys to her room to her fellow blonde. Have fun. Don't lose them, or it's your ass. You mean it's my fine ass. Zola corrected her teasingly as she dragged Ange away. Wait, let go of me, Naruko Onisama. Ange wailed as she and Zola disappeared. Don't worry, Ange, I'll send those petitions like you wanted. Naruko called after her and laughed. That was cruel, Jill noted as Emma and the others' sweat dropped and Naruko stood up. This is Arsenal after all. A little slice of hell for troublesome Norma to be reformed to quell their bitchness. Naruko recited as she left, for our future plans, it'll only hinder us. She thought to herself as she made her way to the residential district. Naruto's estate, Naruko's room. Ange found herself thrown into her older sister's room as Zola closed and locked the door before throwing the keys to the side. Naruko's room was a hybrid of normal and elegant. There was a large king-sized bed with 4 pillars and a curtain above it. There was a vanity mirror, a closet full of clothes for various occasions, a night table with a light next to the bed, and a normal-size window. The carpet was blood crimson with the wall rose red with various designs. Ange noted it was nothing like Naruto's own Spartan room back in the palace before she was roughly thrown onto the middle of Naruto's bed. After setting what appeared to be a card on the night table, Zola crawled onto the bed and advanced on Ange, who wasn't quick enough to escape as she caught and dragged back by her ankle. You won't last another second here on Uzushio, or in the field, if you don't accept your situation. Zola stated coolly as she pinned Ange to the bed and straddled her waist. I am returning to the Empire. Ange yelled defiantly as she tried to struggle, but Zola slapped her, causing her to stop as she leaned in close. If you refuse to be told, then allow me to engrave it into her body. Zola forcibly kissed Ange hungrily, whose moans of protest were muffled by Zola's lip. Ange then cried out when Zola's hand slipped under her uniform and groped her breasts, and moaned some more until Zola let up on the kiss. Submit, and I'll teach you pleasures you've never known in your sheltered life. Zola licked Ange's lip and traveled down to the cape of her neck, kissing it while unzipping her front. Ange gritted her teeth, trying to ignore the strange sensations she was feeling. She managed to get her arm free and slapped the hell out of Zola, who reared back in surprise. Ange panted until she looked to the side of the bed and saw an eye, a cybernetic eye at that, bouncing until it stopped. A horrible feeling swept over Ange with Zola laughing as she faced Ange, with her right eye socket showing. Atta girl, Ange, you got fire. That's how a Norma, a warrior of Uzushio, has to be. Zola praised the fallen princess and liking her more and more. I am not like you defects. I am not a Norma, and I am no warrior. Ange protested as Zola picked up her eye. Lose an eye, lose an arm, and the will to fight still runs through you. Zola recited, licking the back of the eye and resetting it back into her eye socket. It's not just as Norma, but as warriors of Uzushio. Ange attempted to slap her again, but this time Zola was prepared as she caught Ange's hand and fondled her breast again. My, slapping me got you excited. That's not it. Zola licked Ange's neck and whispered into her ear, this brings back memories. You were sick of it, too, weren't you? Of that hypocritical, shallow world. Equality for all, then why are we Norma treated like the pariah and betrayed by those calling themselves our family out of fear of having their mana negated? Truly pathetic, don't you agree? No, Ange tried as her jacket was ripped off her, exposing her breasts, as the fears in the back of her mind resonated with Zola's words. Liar, Zola said simply as she used her body to pin Ange down and slipped her hand into her skirt. Oh my. Please, stop, Ange whined as Zola withdrew her hand and hit a pressure point on her to cease her resistance, causing Zola's mood to sour real quick as she got off of Ange. Ange watched as Zola disappeared, and was quite glad she was gone while crushing the feeling of disappointment. Putting back on her clothes the best her could, she followed after her. Residual District. Naruto was entertaining the young Norma in the activity building when her phone rang at the same time the alarms was heard at Arsenal. Naruto here. Is it the dragons? Yes, it's the dragons, Naruto-chan. And I'm on my way. Karen said from the elevator. I'll be right there. Naruto hung the phone up and flashed a smile at the children. Gotta go. We'll continue building Legos some other time. Bye, Chief. They chanted as Naruto disappeared via Horizon. Arsenal Command Center. How long until the singularity point opens? Karen asked the communication operators as she entered. 10 minutes. More than enough time for the girls to sortie, reported the first girl, Olivier, with green hair. Distance. Karen requested as it was checked. A mile out, reported the second girl, Hikaru, with red hair. Good. Sortie the first squad, Karen commanded. They're already in the hangar and ready to launch, reported the third girl, Pamela, with dirty blonde hair as Naruto came in. Have the Chifuyu squad back them up. They'll be launching from Valhalla directly, Naruto instructed. Yes, ma'am. Another night in dragon slaying. Like clockwork, Karen mused as they saw the Zola squadron launching, and can you please stop smoking in here? She directed it at Jill, who ignored her until Naruto yanked it out of her mouth and crushed it in her hands. You're no fun, she mumbled as she got up. Where are you going? All commanding officers must be here when an enemy engages uzushio. It's too early to get dementia, Naruto stated. Just a quick little errand to run 0 inches. Jill started before there was a beeping sound. What's going on? Naruto asked, with one of the girls looking nervous. We got a deserter in the Zola squadron. They just broke formation and heading outside the combat zone, Pamela said while scared at Naruto's reaction. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Who? Naruto demanded as Karen hovered over the monitor and looking shocked. Are you kidding me indeed, Naruto? And it looks like 2 more are following her aside from Salia, who has her weapon set to stun. Karen commented and looked at Naruto, then frowned when she saw a certain someone trying to sneak away, only to bump into a scowling Kagaya. Who's following the deserter? And who is the deserter that started this? Coco Reeve and Miranda Campbell, with the original deserter being. Karen adjusted her glasses and spoke one syllable. Ange. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.